If you've been training for months, years even, and nothing's changed, yeah, you still look the same, you still look small, you still look skinny fat, there is a good chance that you're making one of these mistakes that I'm going to talk about in this video. And I myself have made all the mistakes that I'm going to cover. Yeah, plenty of trial and error, plenty of ups and downs, so you don't have to. And it wasn't until I invested thousands in a top physique coach and I just learned what works and what doesn't when it comes to building muscle and getting in shape. Yeah, and I actually started getting, results out of the time that I was putting in. And I've built a physique that I'm very proud of. I'm now able to maintain 8 to 12% body fat year round whilst building lean tissue and help others do the same. Yeah, build a body they're proud of and a lifestyle that they actually respect. But these are the 10 most common mistakes that I see when it comes to building muscle and how to fix them. Mistake number 1 is inconsistent training. Yeah, people showing up to the gym when they feel like it. They might show up to the gym for 2 days and then they stop going for 2 weeks, or they go hard at it for 2 weeks and then they stop going for a whole month and they come back. And you're not going to see results. Yeah, your muscles need constant stimulus. If you're just showing up when you feel like it, you're never going to see results. And I was done this time and time again. All right, I used to come home from work and maybe consider going gym, and then half the time I just bin it off and scroll my phone or watch Netflix. Like, guys, if you want to see max results, you need to have a training schedule. All right, that is one thing I was missing for years. A dedicated training schedule, so a religious training schedule where you show up at a certain time every single day, no matter what. So for me, 2 to 3 p.m, I am in that gym, no matter what. Yeah, no one's getting in my way. I don't care who messages me, what happens, I'm getting that session boxed off every single day. So what you're lacking right now, if you're inconsistent with your training, is a training schedule that you show up to every single day. If you're just going to the gym at random times every single day, maybe you go in the evening some days, the morning the other days, you're never going to be consistent. Yeah, build that trust with yourself. Get a training schedule in place and stop, doing all this inconsistent training. The second mistake I see is no structure to your training. Yeah, you're just showing up to the gym, training what you feel like that day. Maybe it's arms. Most of the time it used to be arms for me. I walk in the gym, get a couple curls and just fuck off. And I never saw results. Or maybe you're just looking online, scrolling, looking at your favorite influencer, copying his training program. Like, no, guys. All right, build structure into your training. Make sure you have a training split that you know that you're following. Yeah, the exercises, the rep ranges, the sets. You know what you're doing when you go into that gym. And this is something that I cover with my guys, when they come into the program. I build out their training based on their physique, their current situation. And yeah, they know what they're hitting on a daily basis. Stop going to the gym and not knowing what you're doing. And just winging it, just jumping on any old machine that's free. All right, you're not going to see results like that, guys. All right, so make sure you're following structure in your training, because if you're just following all these random workouts that you're copying online, you're just going to get random results. It's that simple. Have structure to your training. The next mistake I see is not training close enough to failure. Yeah, you're stopping when it feels uncomfortable. Leaving too many reps in the tank. Like, guys, stop going in the gym and just fucking about with your mate. Yeah, looking at your phone for 45 minutes. Like, you actually want to be going in there and pushing yourself. Yeah, your muscles need stimulus to grow. So if you're just doing all these easy sets and just stopping when it feels uncomfortable, you're not going to grow. It's that simple. So you want to be pushing yourself and you want to be training as close to failure as possible. I like to leave, maybe 2 reps in the tank. And yeah, guys, just stop playing it easy. It's that simple. If you actually want to grow, if you actually want to push yourself, you need to be training to failure. This basically leads me on to my next point, guys. No progressive overload. Yeah, you're just going in there week after week, pushing the same weight, doing the same thing, and you're not going to grow. Yeah, you're not going to grow if you're not pushing yourself, if you're not upping the weight or the reps or the performance week by week. You're not going to grow. It's that simple. Like, I've done this for years, guys. I've done this, all right? I used to go in there, lift the same weights, and I just didn't grow. It was that simple, all right? You need to be making sure you're progressively overloading on a weekly basis. Yeah, actually improving in your performance in the gym. Because like I say, your muscles need stimulus to grow. And if you're not actually pushing yourself, you're not going to grow. The next one is something that I've done for absolutely years, all right? And that is junk volume. You know, all this junk volume, going in the gym for an hour and a half, 2 hours, just smashing reps out, smashing sets out. Yeah, doing endless amounts of bicep exercises, endless amounts of chest exercises. And guys, it should be quality over quantity. All right, so many people are just going in the gym thinking that they're doing more, being busier is more effective, and that is just not the case. Yeah, you want to be prioritizing your intensity. You want to have the right rep ranges, the right sets. So stop going in the gym and just doing all this endless amount of junk volume. Yeah, more exercises doesn't mean more muscle. It's that simple. All right, actually start prioritizing the quality of your sets instead of doing all this junk volume and spending all this time in the gym. All right, it's unnecessary. 45 minutes to an hour, in, out, done. That's it. Yeah, like, stop wasting time, guys. Mistake number 6 is poor exercise execution. Yeah, and I literally saw this yesterday. Some kid walking in the gym, you know, swinging the weights about, just looking like an absolute twat. Like, guys, start prioritizing your form. Yeah, stop with the ego. Stop with the half reps. Actually nail your form. Yeah, get your form nailed. You know, you want to have proper execution, proper intensity, proper tempo. All right, like, no one gives a fuck about how much weight you can lift. Yeah, if you're going in there bench pressing, doing all these shitty half reps, using all this momentum, swinging the dumbbells about, you're not going to grow. All right, you're not stimulating the muscle. It's that simple. Drop the ego and start prioritizing the intensity and the execution of your workouts. Mistake number 7 is doing too much cardio. Yeah, you've seen it all online, these hybrid fairies, you know, doing all this endless amount of running on top of lifting. And I've done this for years, guys. I had my hybrid era of going out. I used to love running. All right, I used to run about, 70 plus kilometers a week. But guys, it's interfering with your recovery. Yeah, if you're going out, if you're doing all this hybrid shit and all these HIIT workouts and just this endless amount of cardio, you're interfering with your muscle building. So you want to start prioritizing your recovery. Yes, you always want to keep cardio in there. I'm a big advocate for cardio, but just keep it less, keep it moderate, keep it nice and steady. Yeah, and do it at the end of your workouts, or space it out if you can, if you possibly can. You know, don't do it before your weight training. I used to actually do that before my weight training. I used to go on the Stairmaster. Make sure you're prioritizing the weights. And yeah, just cut back a bit on the cardio. All right, you don't need to be doing this endless amount, especially if you're someone that struggles to eat as it is, to eat enough calories as it is. You don't need to be doing this endless amount of cardio that I'm seeing a lot of people do online. All right, keep cardio steady, keep cardio in there always, but don't prioritize it. Prioritize the weights, prioritize your recovery, and trust me, you'll start building muscle a lot quicker. Mistake number 8 is not eating enough to grow. And I've done this for a couple of years, guys, and this is a very common one that I see. Yeah, a lot of people think they're eating a lot of food, but if you actually tracked the food that you're eating on a daily basis, you might realize that you really aren't eating enough. Yeah, especially if you're eating from Whole Foods like I do. You're not eating enough food. All right, so start tracking your food and start being consistent with it. Yeah, many people eat, a lot of food for one day and then they stop eating. They're all inconsistent. Start being consistent with your nutrition. Yeah, start hitting your macros on a daily basis. Start building structure into your nutrition as well as your training. All right, and make sure you're eating enough. Make sure you're eating enough protein. Make sure you're eating enough calories. and trust me, you will grow. If you're not seeing growth in the gym, you're just not eating enough. It's that simple, guys. So start tracking your food and start eating enough. And number 9 is poor nutrition around training. Yeah, a lot of people are under fueling going into the gym, skipping meals before working out. And like I say, just counting calories. Yeah, their macros and their meal timings are all over the place. And guys, so many people are following all this, this keto shit online, this carnivore trend. Yeah, they're cutting carbs crazy low. Like, guys, you want to keep your carbs in there. Yeah, for your energy, for your focus, for your performance in the gym, for your recovery, post-workout. Like, if you're under fueling, guys, and you're not timing your meals right or your nutrition right, you're not going to recover. Yeah, and you're not going to actually maximize your performance in the gym in order to push that muscle. Yeah, to actually build that muscle in the gym. So you want to be prioritizing your nutrition around your training, getting your macros dialed in, getting that meal timing dialed in. And yeah, guys. And number 10 is poor recovery and sleep. If you're only getting 4 to 5 hours a night, you're scrolling your phone to the early hours of the morning, you're staying late, so you're staying out late on the weekends, you're getting pissed and plastered with your mates, getting on it. You're interfering with your muscle growth big time, guys, and you're not going to see any results. It's that simple. You need to start prioritizing your recovery, your sleep. Yeah, you want to be getting 7 to 8 hours a night, and you want to be prioritizing your recovery. Yeah, you want to be having that rest. What I used to do was go to the gym 6-7 times a week, thinking that, doing more is better. And it's not the case, guys. All right, you want to make sure you're prioritizing your recovery. And when it comes to your sleep, guys, you want to stay off your phone for the last hour, 2 hours of the night. Yeah, like, if you're just scrolling your phone to the early hours of the morning, you're gonna have really shit sleep. All right, so make sure you're prioritizing your sleep. Make sure you're prioritizing your recovery. It's very, very important, because remember, guys, your muscles are growing outside the gym. Yeah, they're not growing inside the gym. All right, so start prioritizing your recovery, start prioritizing your sleep, and you will actually start to grow. So guys, there are the 10 most common mistakes that I see when it comes to building muscle in the gym that keeps people small. And most guys don't stay small because of genetics. They stay small because they keep the same mistakes for years and they think they can do it themselves. Yeah, but if you actually want to build a sick physique and a disciplined lifestyle that you can sustain year round, you can apply to work with me down below, or shoot me a message over on my Insta, Charlie Crawley Fit, and we'll see if you're fit. Let's go, guys.